No mai Huddy mai. Find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. huddysports.co.nz. Now let's kōrero.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the Huddy Hui episode 168, and this is a little bit of a different episode today. We're not really interviewing a rugby player, we're actually deciding to interview someone that's in the nit and gritty of analysis at the professional level of rugby, but he also helps out with community rugby as well here in the capital city. He actually hails from Canterbury, but he's a Wellington supporter. We don't have too many of those appearing on the Huddy Hui, except for Pat Cody, who's down there at Christchurch Old Boys. And our guest tonight is Jack Baker, who joins us on the Huddy Hui tonight. Jack, many thanks for coming on the Huddy Hui tonight. Let's talk about the Lions season, which you've been the head analysis for. What were the learnings from that campaign in the NPC?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, Brad. I guess, a difficult season for us this year compared to the success we've had in the last few years. Different personnel that we were working with. Obviously, like a lot of our guys have managed to achieve higher levels with the All Blacks, which is pretty cool for them. Just means, the next opportunity for the guys coming through to make their debut. So we had a lot of young guys in the environment, which was cool, but does take a little bit of time to gel, and when the season's so short like NPC is, things just didn't click the way we probably hoped them to this year.
How long have you been working with Wellington Rugby as analysis?
Yeah, so this was my third year with the Wellington Lions, but second as the head analyst. So I've been doing about 2 years now. Learning each year.
Now, for those of us who might not know the day-to-day talk, can you walk us through what a typical week looks like for you during the NPC playing season, from a game on Saturday to the next one?
Yeah, sweet. So starting from game day, we normally get there about 3-4 hours early to set up mainly the coach's box. So a bit of hardware and software set up there so that we're able to watch the game live. So we do all that, and then we can also provide stats live for the coaches if they need it. After the game, we sort of package up the footage, so we get 6 angles for every NPC game, so it covers all the different views. From there, we add our own stats and sort of put together a review for the coaches. So that's between our team of 4 or 5 analysts. We all do that, everyone chipping in. Give that to the coaches and they start their review. And then that kind of leads us in back to, say, like a Monday morning, where players come in and we start to build our week. As the analysts, we kind of run the presentations and the keynotes for the coaches. It sort of incorporates the video and stats and that side of things that we've all put together. As the days sort of roll on, we're there filming training. We're very lucky that we're based out at NZCIS and get to use all of that cool technology, and the cameras they have there on the massive poles, so that we get real good aerial views. And it's just about capturing all our training footage so we can prepare the players through the week. And that's so we kind of have 3 trainings during the week to build our players towards the next Saturday, different meetings in between. And then I guess as analysts as well, we're doing a lot of scouting work on the opposition that we're going to play, like trying to basically pick them apart to see where we can exploit their weaknesses, and then put together a bit of a report and the video, and
Let's
by
talk
the time
about
it comes around to the next Saturday.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's talk about the change of software. I remember roughly about 15 years ago, you had to go get a CD from the Skytruck or whatever it was, and then that was uploaded. Now a lot of it's instant. Let's talk about what tools and software that you use that you couldn't do your job without, particularly this day and age.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a massive part of our workflow. So Huddle Sports Codes, the go-to software, it's definitely the gold standard across all of rugby in New Zealand and lots of other different sports around the globe. So yeah, it basically allows us to capture video live and then break it down instantly. So like for a rugby game, we can break down line-outs, scrums, tackles, tech, defense as much as we want. We're not really limited in that space. And then it's instant. We can watch it back straight away, get stats from it straight away. Yeah. So it's definitely the go-to.
How important is the statistical data that you collect, in particular, that you pass on to the coaches to help with a game plan for the week ahead?
Yeah, I think in this day and age with professional rugby that the data's essential. It's as important as, getting into the gym and that for the boys. Like we use it to, I guess, quantify our own performance and then also pick up on trends from the opposition. The coaches want to know certain things about how many times opposition run a line out move or, how good the tackle percentage is. Like, yeah, we just go through so many different numbers that there's not really a limit to it, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
When you're watching a game as an analysis, what are the key and non-negotiable actions or metrics that you have to do while tracking the Wellington team?
Yeah, so we kind of split it up between me and BJ Martin, who's our assistant analyst, and he does a real good job for us too. But he kind of looks at line out, scrums, the key starts of play, whereas I probably dive in a little bit more around how our tackle performance is going, what options, what moves we're running on attack, how successful those are. And that's that's more of a focus on us. And then when we're comparing that to what we're looking at for the opposition, it's more around how they're defending in terms of their numbers and their fold and how they're attacking, what moves they're running off their line out, off their scrum, how often they do that, who's carrying. So yeah, there's lots of variables to it that we're all looking at.
What is the most challenging part of scouting and analysing an opponent? And is it identifying their patterns or trying to anticipate possible new tactics?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, it's along those lines. Different teams are easier and some teams are more challenging to analyse depending on their variation of what they're doing game by game. So we kind of look at 3 or 4 games at a time for each scout. So teams may adjust slightly or they may be pretty consistent through each week. So yeah, it's just trying to pick up the key trends which we think they'll continue to do. And then if there's any options they might try and run against us based on how we're playing. Yes, trying to marry those two together.
How do you work with the head coach and the other positional coaches in the setup? How do you ensure that your analysis is delivered in a way that will be suitable for them?
Yeah, so I guess how our office is set up at NZCIS, I'm about a metre away from all the coaches. So a lot of the time there's just organic conversations going on around different aspects, which is really cool to have. Other than that, we get it's about a 10-page document to them each week, sort of previewing the opposition and then breaking it down different facets of the game. And then likewise, after our game, a stats report goes out too. So therefore, they're getting consistent documentation based on our work and our findings. And then, yeah, from there, it's just those conversations to sort of build on that, which is, yeah, that's where the value is.
And of course, not only is it the coaches, it's the players that you have to work with and give feedback to. How do you present video feedback to the players? Do you create like individual clips or unit clips for the forwards and backs? And what's the feedback that you get back from them?
Yeah, so I guess when we're breaking down our day, we have times in units, forwards and backs, and time with the team. So different clips get shown in each of those meetings, just sort of relating to the important parts of their game and what they're trying to work on. A lot of it's done in that sort of collaborative group approach based on what the coaches are seeing. Then we kind of have, one-on-ones with certain leaders in that area and just making sure that we're delivering the same consistent message to everyone in the group for their own growth and how we're going to, combat the opposition the following week.
So there's sort of an analytical insight that you'll come up in theory and think, yeah, this is brilliant. But then it sort of is sort of debated upon with the coaching staff. Do you have those debates with them and the players?
Not massively. Like a lot of it is aligned, which is good. Like we're finding that if we come up with something and the coaches also see it the same way, then that means we're sort of on the same track and we can deliver that to the players. I think sometimes it's more when we've previewed something in an opposition and then they don't run it or they do a variation of it that sort of catches us off guard a little bit. But yeah, most of the time we're aligned and have those discussions on any differences if we need to.
So besides sort of like set pieces, what is one area of the game that you feel is most influenced by detailed analysis in modern rugby?
I think looking at how teams attack these days, there's a lot of similarity, I guess, especially in a New Zealand game, and you're trying to build on from what works well and what doesn't work well. So trying to pick up how teams attack deliberately, and then finding ways to be able to shut that down. Because I guess when you don't have the ball, you can't score points. So rugby's simple if you strip it back.
Now, of course, this year the Lions played all their home games out at Jerry Collins Stadium, and they had half the games there last year and half at at Sky Stadium. How different is it when you go to a community ground and you've got to set up all this gear for game day compared to having it there at the stadium?
Yeah, no, it is. It's a big difference, and it's a challenge for us. Like it's cool that we've got the opportunity to have played at Porirua this year and across the last few years too, actually. But yeah, there's a lot more set up, and we've kind of got to work within the restraints of what we have to use at Porirua. But when it comes to Sky, it's set up well for us. We can fit lots of people in the coach's box that we need to. We can have clear conversations. So yeah, different challenges when we're at Porirua. I guess we just sort of make it work to the best of our ability. Yeah.
Have you had any moments where, because technology can be your best friend and your worst friend, we know that on here on Huddy Sports. Have you had any moments during a game where technology has gone belly up?
Yeah, 100%. Probably the biggest example was round one this year. The power went out at Porirua Park about half an hour before kickoff, and pretty much wrote most of our technology off. Spent a lot of time trying to troubleshoot issues that game, but yeah, it's perfect when it works well. But yeah, the slightest thing can make it a whole lot difficult. So yeah, we kind of just navigate those problems as they come up. They're hard to plan for, but when they do, you've got a sort of checklist that you go through to try and resolve them.
How long before a game are you at the ground before the players and management?
Yeah, so initially we tend to get there about 3 hours before, just to start our setup, sort of tick things over, get them working. If there's any issues, we can troubleshoot that. Being at Porirua, we'd then have our pre-match off-site. So I'd go away to that and run the meetings and that sort of thing, and then come back sort of an hour before kickoff and make sure everything's still working and do a few more test runs and just make sure everything's robust before we get going. So there's a bit of build up before kickoff for our role.
Now, this year, Wellington have had some tough losses. How does your approach to video review change compared to a successful win? Is the focus more clinical, or do you feel the pressure more?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel the pressure a bit more around, knowing that each game deeper into the season has more weighting and more bearing on ultimately your outcome at the end of the season. So it's just about finding more ways where we can do better things for the team, like how we can improve. Is it more detail? Is it, looking at aspects slightly differently? You definitely try and come up with new ways or question the way you're doing things a little bit more when you're not getting those results week in, week out, like we have in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Now, in rugby, in any sense, there's always a bit of pressure no matter what you do. Me being a former rugby referee, I sometimes still do it when I'm watching a game. I sometimes forget that I'm no longer a fan. I'm sort of focused on what the referee does. Let's talk about you as analysis. Even when you're not working and you're watching Super Rugby, Club Rugby, or All Black games, do you actually watch as a fan, or are you actually still got your analytical mind on?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I'd say it's a mix of both. Like when you're watching it on TV, you're getting a very select view of what's on the broadcast. So sometimes it is easier just to watch it, especially if it's a game that doesn't really have any bearing on your own season or players that you're not coming up against. But um, no, you're always looking at ways other teams are doing things and how you can potentially incorporate it or exploit it if you're coming up against that. But yeah, I'm still love rugby, so sometimes it is easy just to watch it as a fan and back the team. Yeah.
Now, of course, how did you get into analysis work? What was your study in regards to, before you got into this line of work?
Yeah, so I guess probably started back. I didn't really know what I wanted to do after high school, but my last year of high school, my PE teacher sort of set me up with a day at the Crusaders, and always been into rugby, always been into sort of the numbers side of things. So seeing that analysis as a pathway was pretty cool. And then I kind of went into uni down in Canterbury, and they have what was called a sport coaching degree, and then I took a lot of analysis papers during that, a few internships, and it kind of just went in a nice line and got some good opportunities along the way. It's kind of how it worked.
Where did you go to school in Canterbury? What high school?
Yeah, I went to Papanui High School. There was the local co-ed one, which I enjoyed my time there.
Now, of course,
Yeah.
we mentioned before the interview started that you come from Canterbury, but you're a Wellington fan. How did you manage to cope with the bunch of the Cantabrians down there every time Canterbury had a win over Wellington?
Always been a Wellington fan. I was born in Wellington, so that's where that came from. But it's been a tough few years growing up, enduring Canterbury win after win and Crusaders' success. But just just always stayed true and stayed loyal to Wellington and I guess the Hurricanes as well. And those wins, I guess, memorable 2016 Hurricanes, but also 2017 Lions, 2022 Lions, especially down in Christchurch.
Yep.
Yeah, those moments mean a little bit more. So, no, it has
Now,
been a challenge, but yeah, you ride the wave.
did you play rugby as well? And if so, what position?
Yeah, so I played rugby growing up as a kid and right the way to sort of the end of high school. And first five halfback was sort of my positions coming through. Enjoyed halfback a bit more, but you had to have a couple of positions to fit in the team when needed. Yeah.
And I hear you're pretty handy at touch rugby as well.
Yeah, not too bad. I guess touch has kind of been the sport that I've sort of fallen into playing. We had a good program at school. Um, got a few good trips at nationals and to Australia for touch, and was in a Canterbury squad for a little bit there. Went to nationals as a draft player for Manawatu, which was a cool
Oh,
one-off
cool.
experience, and just kept it going ever since. We got our team from school still exists down in Canterbury, so no, it's cool. It's a bit more of a social thing now for me with this analyst role taking up a lot of my time, but still enjoy getting on the touch field.
Now, besides doing the analysis work of the Wellington Lions, but you actually do quite a bit for club rugby as well. For Petone games this year, I've had to email you the footage for Petone home games. Tell us what you do during the club season. Is that just only for certain clubs, or is it for all club rugby?
Yeah, so part of my role as an analyst for Wellington Rugby is sort of coordinating and working with the clubs so that they're all filming footage so that not only the clubs themselves, but our rep programs and our Lions and the Pride for the Women are able to see footage every week coming through. It's a good way to ID players and get a gauge how our clubs are going. So, yeah, it's kind of my role to coordinate with each of the clubs and get that footage in on timely matter. And then, I do a little bit of work with Petone too. Got a bit of connection there through my grandfather being a life member and dad playing there too. So, no, it's cool to do my little part for that club, which is, got a
Yeah,
lot of connections to my family.
Yeah, I was talking about. It was one of the questions I was going to ask you, but you brought it up anyway. Let's talk about your connection with the club in more detail. Your grandfather, he's often there at Petone home games. Tell us about him, in particular, his playing career at Petone alongside your father.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, my grandfather, we call him Papa, but he loves rugby, loves Petone, bleeds blue and white. He gets to as many games as he can with his mates, and it's pretty cool to see, and pretty cool to go along with him. He played growing up for Petone, talks a lot about his time in the Colts and sort of that sort of age, early 20s. And then, did a bit of coaching along the way there too. And then your dad sort of followed the same sort of path and played a bit of footy for them coming through the ranks. Sort of, 80s, 90s, along the lines of, the Tim Mannix and Simon Mannix era and Jason O'Halloran. So, no, definitely a bit of family history there.
Now let's look at a future focus question. What will the role of an analysis look like in 5 years' time? What new technology do you think could become the standard?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's trying to preempt it a little bit. Obviously, AI's made massive waves and all across the world in the last couple of years. So I think that's going to have a influence on analysis in the future. I think it's just a matter of how we can use that in the best way possible so that we still have value, and we're using the AI side of things to reduce the manual labor or the time consuming elements so that we can free ourselves up to get the real insights and value out of the data and the relationships within the team. Yeah.
As someone deeply involved with Wellington rugby setup, what does it mean to you personally to contribute to the performance and the setup of the Wellington regional teams?
Yeah, no, I definitely know I'm in a privileged role, and especially, with Wellington having a lot of meaning. So it's just about, I guess, trying to get the best out of the teams, and so the performance is top standard within the country. Um, a lot of the work you do is, I guess, you got to look bigger picture, and even the boys coming through academy and stuff, where they're destined for their careers. And I mean, we've seen this year, we've already had a few make their debuts for the Lions, like straight out of the academy. So it's just trying to support those different pathways where I can with my knowledge and my role. Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young person, particularly here in Wellington, who loves rugby, but also loves statistical data and wants to follow in familiar footsteps like yourself? What is the best piece of advice you could give them right now?
I think taking your opportunities or looking for opportunities proactively, like to get to where you want to go, do you have to do a lot of volunteering and do your study and get that foundation really solid. I think just you getting out there and trying to get involved with different teams, and even if you've got to move away like I have done myself to try and find the opportunity, I think, if you really want something, you'll go chase it.
Now, of course, the NPC season has finished early for Wellington. Do you still have to be working at the moment? What's going on in your role?
Yeah, so I'll still keep working. Right now, we're kind of going to deep dive into a bit of a review, statistical analysis of how our season went. We'll kind of wait for the competition to run out, and then we can see what those teams who have eventually made the final, what they did really well. Kind of compose a bit of a report and have some meetings with the coaches, and really iron out what worked well, what didn't, so that we build our 2026 really strongly. Yeah.
What's your plans for the off season in the summer?
Yeah, so I'll probably get back down to Christchurch for the summer and catch up with my family and my mates down there. And it's been a while. Like when you're in the 3-4 month slog of NPC, you're kind of consumed by it, but in a good way. Becomes your focus, and it's always nice just to sort of take a step back, go home, see my mates, and connect. Just enjoy that time with them, which I haven't seen for a while. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
And how far do you want to take your career as a video analysis? Where could you see yourself wanting to go?
Yeah, so I guess like there's a lot of different pathways you go. I mean, Super Rugby's probably the next logical step up. There's good markets in Japan and Australia. So I guess for me, it's just kind of seeing where it takes me, building those connections in Wellington with those around me. And there's a lot of moving parts in rugby, and people come and go and move on and find other opportunities. So just being aware of what's around, and whether that's in New Zealand or Japan or somewhere else. We'll see where that takes me. I'm still pretty young, so just keeping an open mind at the moment.
Jack, it's been fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui. We've been meaning to get you on for a while, but you've been super busy. But well done on your career so far, in particular with Wellington and the Wellington rugby scene. And we'll see you around, no doubt, in 2026. Enjoy.
Cool. Thank you, Brad. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
That is Jack Baker from Wellington Rugby, the video analysis for the Wellington Lions, and it's great to have him on board as well. So, Jack, many thanks for coming on. Something a little bit different, actually, compared to just interviewing mostly players and coaches. So it's always good to get to see another side of what rugby really is like, and the analysis work has definitely changed over that time. So, of course, episode 168 of the Huddy Hui tonight. Next week we'll bring you episode 169, date and time to be confirmed, and we're going to aim to get to episode 170, and then we'll have a break for the summer season. So it's been a very busy year on Huddy Sports, so we're aiming for about 2 more episodes to close out the year here on the Huddy Hui. Now, got some good news as well. It's been very quiet here on the live streaming front, but next Saturday we're heading up the road, State Highway 2 to Napier, and we're going to be doing, for the second year in a row, the Napier Boys High School Sevens tournament, and I've been told that there's roughly about 20 teams entered in that tournament this year, played out at Napier Boys High School. So more details of that will follow on our website, huddysports.co.nz, and our socials, Facebook and Instagram. So it'll be great working with Napier Boys High School, again, bringing you their Sevens tournament next Saturday. So, keep an eye out for all those details as well. As always, here on Huddy Sports, we want to keep what we do free for all of you to watch. So if you're looking to help us sponsor, we've got people we've been talking to who are looking to potentially in the near future look at helping what we do here on Huddy Sports. But if you are eager as anything and wanting to help out, keep what we do free here, not only here in Wellington, but across mostly the lower North Island, head over to huddysports.co.nz or email us at huddysportsnz@gmail.com, or go to Facebook and Instagram to find more details as well. We've even made approaches down to the South Island. Of course, we have a very good relationship with High School Old Boys and their under 85 team. So it's been a very busy year. Over 100 events we've done, including Huddy Hui's here on Huddy Sports YouTube. So that is the Huddy Hui for tonight. Have a good evening all. I am Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook, and check out huddysports.co.nz.
Blocked drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning, from quick fixes to full renovations. He's got the tools, the team, and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable, and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz, 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here
And Cassie Murphy.
from G and Hickton Funeral Directors.
Conversation.
With a prepaid funeral, you can have music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to our website at gandhickton.co.nz/pre-planning.
The Huddy Hui Huddy Sports captivating sports show. The Huddy Hui covers Wellington Club rugby as well as other sporting topics of debate. Tune in on YouTube during the rugby playing months as host Brad Hudson interviews rugby players and other sporting personalities across the Wellington region and the rest of New Zealand. Catch the Huddy Hui streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever good yarns are heard. The Huddy Hui live on Huddy Sports. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, she'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise@louise.reddy@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Ciao for now.